Okay, this is the BlueJeans sign on. I've already signed on to one of our accounts. Gotta get this out of the way. There we go. Uh, this is when you come in, it hits this screen first. This is the meeting screen. We set up meetings. Every meeting that we set up on the groups that I'm involved with each have their individual ID numbers. That's done, and I will show you where as I walk down this screen. If I want to edit something on a meeting, all I do is hit this. And since these meetings are all recurring, you hit recurring, and here's where you set everything up. You put the meeting title in, you put the time in, you can set your GMT to what location you're working with, and you're good to go at that point. Then you can set your repeating the meeting at XYZ. So if it's a Sunday meeting, you set it up and click on that. And then you go down to advanced options. We do not use invite participants at all with any of our meetings. You could do that if you wanted to put people in there so that are going to be moderators in the meeting, but we don't find it necessary. Because at this point, you see limited to the first 100 participants. That's if you wanted to put the meeting out like that. When you hit advanced options, that brings up, if I can scroll down, what happened to it? Did it not click? There we go. Okay, you can have participant codes if you want to. We don't use it on these things. I'm seeing a lot of Zoom meetings that are using participant codes. I'm going to have to put, those are going to have to be put out on virtual, which will become painful. And I need to get with the Zoom guys about that, if there's a way that we can add that to the back string so it's a click. We always start meetings without moderator, just as the Zoom meetings do. You can go back and forth. We start them without moderators so people can go into the room. You can encrypt the meeting, you can crop video, you can disable chat messaging. If you do that, nobody can chat in the chat box. Mute participants on entry, that's done in all the meetings. Turn off and on entry, video on entry, it's normally turned off. And then it's a silent participant entry mode. And that's basically what you can do. If you run into a meeting, they don't have the room set up. BlueJeans does not have the room set up like Zoom does. That's a nice feature. I will be talking to their tech support after the pandemic is over because they really should add it. Because that is a nice feature. The feature is that you can record, we record speakers all the time with their consent. We haven't done anything with them yet, but we do record, and we record service meetings just like you guys are recording. Most of the meetings that we are using outside of the country don't use video. There's multiple reasons we don't use video. One of them is bandwidth and not getting wonky. Most of these meetings have been around for as long as 8 or 9 years. That's how long I've been doing online meetings, 8 years plus. And we came out of the Skype world, and Skype was a limit of 25 or a limit of 9 on video and 25 on voice. And video wasn't an option. I've gotten real used to not having video. That's just me. The meetings are running good. I like some of the things that they talked about with multiple moderators. And to set up a moderator, all we have to do is you get a moderator code. If you do not have a moderator code, you can't mute and unmute people, and you can't turn off video. We have turned off screen sharing on multiple licenses at this point because screen sharing can't be locked, and I don't know if it can be locked on Zoom, but people were hitting the screen share and it was flashing up on the screen. So we've just turned it off, and we don't have that issue anymore. They can't share they can't do it by accident.
Jay, I'm noticing something kind of neat over there on the bottom left. It looks like it's a getting started for admins, and it's got a bunch of different information over there.
Oh yeah, that's something new that just came up in the last couple of days.
I'm sure it did.
Right. I mean, it wasn't there last week. And it tells you can go through
That looks
and
great, man. Yeah.
it will take you to the help section and to articles on each one. I don't want to start unloading it. I noticed it last night, and it works. I was noticing that if I do this and go to settings here, pull that up. Let's see if it comes up. Okay. This is what you can do as far as
Oh wow, you can lock the view.
Yep. If you wanted to, you can. You can configure the phone numbers. And here's what we use. This moderator code here, and I'm going to have to do that now. You can change that across the board. So
now, can you give a little bit of insight into the accessibility issues that happen around the world, and how inexpensive BlueJeans is for the dial-in as opposed,
Well, I heard something last night, and I went to try to verify it. There's 40 countries around the globe that have free numbers that you can dial in from. And all they have to do is dial the number and put the access code on the back side, and they're in the meeting. Somebody told me that Zoom had gone to free numbers, and I went and checked for myself because that was one of the drawbacks for us coming out of Skype on a lot of the meetings. And it still looks like you're being charged for the service, and I'm assuming you're being charged on a per minute basis. I mean, we're averaging between 3,000 and 5,000 minutes with people on phones a month on certain platforms, which would add up very quickly. We couldn't afford that.
Yes, so what we're talking about here is that when you have a dial-in option and you have a host that's hosting the meeting, and you're in a certain country as the host, and then somebody calls in from another country to your meeting, there's generally a fee for that. Now, one of the benefits to BlueJeans is that it's much less expensive if many people are calling in from other countries. It's much less expensive to use BlueJeans for your meetings. There are many free call-ins from other countries, and that's one of the reasons that around the world, in places where there's really tough internet, is that BlueJeans works really well. That's one of the benefits of BlueJeans. Zoom has some great stuff too, but it's give and take with all of them.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with Shane with that one. Absolutely.
But that's why you guys chose BlueJeans, right?
Right. We chose BlueJeans because we have a half a dozen people that were coming into the meetings on a regular basis, and now more that we paid for it on Skype, and now it's the charge of a local call. So if you've got countrywide calling, Australia has a half a dozen numbers, the United States has 3 numbers, South Africa has a number. I mean, there's 40 countries that you can call in from. So, I mean, we get people from all over the globe being able to go to meetings if they don't have access to the internet or their internet is wonky. And Australia has good internet in the cities, but doesn't have good internet in the middle of the country or in a lot of places where these meetings are critical. because there are no meetings within 100K or 150K on a nightly basis. I mean, we've been averaging, I mean, I know your meetings are getting bigger and bigger, just like ours. We've maxed out the 100 participant limit, and we're trying to increase it now to 150. And I don't know if we want to go any farther because of the problem with the breakout rooms. I mean, we can do breakout rooms just like you can, but I mean, with more meetings coming online, hopefully we will be able to cover it through multiple meetings at the same time. I mean, across the spectrum of everything. Are there any questions or any questions you're going to put in the chat box? Is there anything else I can tell you? The meetings, we normally start 20 minutes before. We're talking at the beginning about no video and why we don't use video. And I mean, we've had the same problem that you guys had. I mean, we've got people turning on their video and you can see they've got no close up, and we're turning off the video immediately. I mean, or they're doing something else. There's people trolling. There is one of the difference between BlueJeans and Zoom is you can't send files on BlueJeans. It doesn't have that capability. What we're looking for is to be able to delete parts of the text box when people put inappropriate things in the text box. We're working with BlueJeans to get it that the moderators can erase the text, but that is not capable. We are not capable of that right now. Do you have that ability, Shane? Can you erase the text box?
No, we cannot.
Okay, same thing at this point. This meeting hub is something new. I hadn't seen that. They put that out in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, that's
I
very
haven't
new.
even seen it. So.